Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-in time. And today I'm so honored and excited to get to introduce Justin Zora. Justin has been a leader in food and beverage here in this community for over 2 decades. He's now the district manager for Parrilla Grill, and he's been in that role for a couple of years now. And I'm so excited to be able to talk to you and help share the Parrilla Grill story and the origin story. Parrilla Grill, Justin, I don't know if you know this, has been a member of the chamber since 1999.
I did
And
not know that.
and that's it's because of the community engagement that the leadership has with Parrilla Grill, and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's why we're here today, is to help share the story. And I love starting these off by sharing a little bit about the people first, but
Sure.
we can't do this, Justin, without our sponsors. So I get the opportunity to thank Delta Dental. You know, Justin, they've been the best in class dental insurance provider to Idahoans and businesses, and they've been doing it for over half a century. And with
Wow.
that, I'm going to share a fun video from their Tooth Truth series. You'll like this one, Justin. Here we go.
Did you know that snails have 26,000 tiny teeth all lined up in rows? Escargot with garlic.
Okay.
You got it.
That was good. That was good. I loved it. I'm using that one tomorrow.
Okay. So, Justin, tell us a little bit about your history and how you got to where you're at today, and how you landed with Scotty in the team at Parrilla Grill.
So first of all, thanks for having me, buddy. You know how I feel about you. This is my honor, not yours. So it's nice that you said that. But I think we know who the celebrity is here, and it's you. Um, so I got to Boise in 2002, and had an opportunity to work with some really great people over the years. A lot of different people, one of which was Scotty. I used to bartend at Priya back in 2005, I believe. And so working with him then, I don't think I realized how unique of a character that guy was. I mean, I always enjoyed working for Priya, but what's interesting about that guy is he really, really has done a phenomenal job with a very simple yet eclectic concept, and it's really fun to be a part of that. But like I said, I got here in 2002. I worked for Boogie Woogies, if you guys remember that place. That's
Yeah.
actually how I got to Boise. And I had an opportunity to own a few businesses. We owned Shorties for a bit,
Yep.
in between some other owners. And then, we had Fatties, we had the drink on State Street. And through the years, like I said, I've had an opportunity to do a lot of different things on my end, as well as working in media, working in sales. And so I always felt like I had a pretty well-rounded work experience, but I always found that the restaurant industry absolutely utilized my gifts to the best of their ability. And I've always found my way back to it, even when I left. It's kind of like the mafia. You try to get out and they suck you back in, man. Exactly.
Wow. You know, I love those stories because I've seen you, well, most recently with Even Steven Sandwiches.
Sure. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
your last gig before Parrilla Grill. And I just love your disposition with your teammates. I love the positive attitude that you had, and you guys just went and you helped spawn like two or three of those here over that course of time, and
Right.
I know why now you're in the role that you are.
And I think what was interesting, I'll tell you what, I have nothing ill to say of Even Stevens. First of all, they were amazing to work for. I was there for almost 5 years, and I truly, truly enjoyed it. I think what was super interesting for me for that position is, as I had a chance to sort of climb up within the ranks, I got to see a lot of things that were good, and I got to see a lot of things that maybe weren't so good in growth, especially, right? You're right. I mean, at one point they were opening, you know, 2 stores a month, and it was really hard to keep the culture the same, and that's what made it so great. And so as I started talking with Scotty, and as we started, sort of putting a plan together, it was really important, exactly what you're talking about, to have a positive attitude, build that culture. At the end of the day, we have core values that we put in place. I treat employees mostly as if they're going to move on, and not only accept that, encourage it, right? I mean, we're not an industry where 95% of the people continue on in this industry. It's more like 95% of the people don't. And so our industry typically is a stepping stone for most people. And so we treat our employees like the campground rule. We want to find them better, or we want to leave them better than we found them, right?
Right.
And so our goal is always to make them better employees for the next job and the next job, and then for their career. That's always the goal, right?
Wow.
And so for us, it's just been really fun to work with somebody as smart as Scotty in a different way than I am, because we complement that so well. And it's nerve-wracking at times, but it's also super enlightening most of the time.
I've been in Hyde Park, and I used to work in Hyde Park in the early 90s and the mid 90s. And I watched Parrilla grow into what it is. And I'd see people that were leaders in Parrilla Grill in the beginning actually take some time, go do something, and then come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott had a manager that worked for him for 13 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's unprecedented.
Okay.
And
all right.
It's unbelievable.
Help share the origin story. Not everybody knows, not everybody's in Hyde Park all the time. Tell us about Parrilla Grill, when it started, and why.
So Parrilla just had 22 years. And so it's pretty amazing. I mean, that alone is pretty spectacular. And anybody that's in this business gets that for sure. It started in Bozeman, and that's where Scotty's from. And they opened one here and in Bend, and the other ones are called La Parrilla. So they're a little bit different, right? And so a lot of the things are the same, but it's now part of a different ownership group. And when Scotty bought it out, that guy, if anybody's owned a business or has taken pride in their business in any sort of way, knows that it's a very romantic notion, right? I mean, he was running open to closes back in the day. I mean, he didn't have a liquor license, and he didn't have any of that stuff. And it was a one-room shack. And over the years, it's basically been a transformer. He's turned it into, things 5 times over. And so over the years, sort of taken that on himself, he's really done a phenomenal job. And what's interesting to me is being a part of something that's so much bigger. And I know this sounds a bit cheesy, but we probably had 4 weddings this year that we catered, of people that went to North, went to Boise High, and wanted Parrilla at their wedding because they had been going there for 20 years. And that to me is special. And we get those middle schoolers in still, and we get those high schoolers in, and they get rowdy and rambunctious because they're kids and they're supposed to be doing goofy stuff, trying to sneak sodas and funny stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, we truly look at it like, these guys will be with us. These guys and girls will be with us for the next 15 years. It's unbelievable, the thing that he's done. And I can't brag enough about it. And I think what I did for a year when I got there is I said, hey, I'm not fixing anything. Nothing's broken here, right? This is not a broken system where I'm coming in and I'm saying we got to do this. This is all about culture and foundation. This is about growing the business. And when you grow the business, you have to have certain things in place that when you just run one store, you don't. And so I told everybody for 6 months to a year that, hey, this is amazing. Like, what this guy's done is amazing. And I felt very lucky just to walk in and be a part of it.
Well, the brand has been elevated in those last 22 years, from fish tacos to and a bowl of soup for $3, all the way to the brand recognized at the airport.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got Parrilla Grill in Hyde Park.
Right.
And then you've got, I know Delaware North is the owner operator of Parrilla Grill at the airport, but it's the brand, and you guys have a lot to do with that. And then there's 13th Street Pub.
Right. 13th Street Pub.
That's in the partnership there. Now tell us the newest location, and tell us about that and how all that came and transpired.
So what's really interesting about our new location, which is called Gibson, it's in the Gibson apartment building. And so it's right downtown, 5th and Idaho, right across from Flying M. It's a really neat spot because you've got Dharma Sushi, you've got Flying M, and you're kind of a block off of the, the craziness.
Yeah.
And I think that in order to do something like that and survive, you've got to be smart and you've got to have some real brand loyalty. And I think what's interesting is we're already seeing that from people who maybe want to go to Hyde Park for lunch, but work 2 blocks away. They can't get to their car. They can't, they're not going to get in and drive somewhere. Whereas, we've had so many people walk in for lunch that said, we're so glad that you're here. And so that one kind of came about. And working with Even Stevens, I saw this a couple times. And I don't share this story very often, but since we brought it up, there was a lady that came into Even Stevens when I was working one day, and she had lunch, and then she ended up calling the CEO and had such a good time there that they wanted to get Even Stevens into U Village in Seattle. And that happens. And what was interesting is that's exactly how Parrilla got into Gibson. People were reaching out, people were talking, hey, what about this location? What about, and when you've got some connections, people know people who know people, and then all of a sudden people start reaching out saying, hey, this is a good spot for you. We'd love to have you here. That's a great feeling. And I think that's more or less what happened with Gibson. And it's been absolutely exciting to get in. And even though you've got a solid, super solid foundation in Hyde Park, you're still learning as you go, right? Opening new stores is a very unique experience. It's very fun. It's very exciting and stressful all at the same time. And having somebody like Scott on the backside of you where, he's pushing for success. He wants you to be successful. Now you want your team to be successful. And then the restaurant successful. It's been a blast so far for sure.
Well, I like what you said about the team and the leadership growing correctly.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
You don't expand so quick and have all that debt that you have to be firing back. You have a different mindset when it's like that. But when you're doing the simple thing well and you're duplicating that effort, I think that goes a long way. And you maintain that quality. And I get a Melvin Graves craving, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. And if you're a sporty person and you want to watch the game, you have kind of a following, a cult following.
Absolutely.
For example, the University of Idaho played Southern Louisiana.
Yep.
In that big game. And Bill Connors, our CEO, was trying to Google, where do I go watch the game?
Yeah.
And Parrilla Grill was the place. And I think people are missing the boat on that stuff, but that's another thing that you do very well.
Well, Scott has absolutely set that up in a very easy sense, right? We always say things like, it's simple, it's not easy, right? And so it's very simple to put something together for people to get them to enjoy it. It's not so easy to make sure they can come back. And that's what we enjoy. I mean, I got to tell you right now, my favorite thing is knowing when you walk in, it's a Melvin, right? And we've got those brand loyalty neighbors that come in and we go, hey, I'm already throwing the blackened salmon down on the grill before they even have said something. And that's kind of the fun stuff. But that Vandal watch party that we just had was so much fun. I mean, it was, not a seat to be had in the house. And that stuff is a blast. I mean, it's anytime you get like-minded individuals together rooting, oh man, it doesn't even matter if you're a Vandal fan or a soccer fan or, we got cricket on tomorrow and there's cricket lovers in the house. You're into it, right? You're into it. And it was a blast. That was a super fun party.
Well, and again, back to the growing correctly, you've expanded and, taken out walls, redone the front, pushed out back. That just has taken the time it takes.
Yeah. And Scotty, that's a very interesting thing that he does on a regular, and I say regular basis, every couple of years. the first year, I'd been to Parrilla. When I bartended there, it was all outdoors still, right? And we had
Right.
to take the liquor inside at night. You had to lock it up. The bathrooms were in the middle of the restaurant. Now and so walking around with him sometimes is super funny. Because he'll just, there's a water pipe behind this wall, and he's just done so many things to that place that over the years it's turned in to this really unique, fun, cult following place. And that's the unique part that I think that we have to be very careful about and very cognizant about. Duplicating that is not just putting up four walls in a bar. It's really not. And so, we have 4 core values that we try to live by. And I think, using those core values to drive our days and drive our shifts and drive our teams has really helped at Gibson. And I think will continue to help as we start to grow. And so he's a very smart guy, and he's not going to just throw stuff at a wall and hope it sticks. I mean, he's calculated in the most easygoing way. And it's shown at Gibson just in the couple months we've been open.
Hyde Park and Parrilla Grill has been one of those places where you can start your evening out there, and then most often you end your evening there. I love it.
It's fun. It's fun. And it's a wave of different kinds of neighbors throughout the day.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, from breakfast to lunch to dinner, I mean, it really has a unique feel all the way through. Sundays feel different than Saturdays, and Thursdays feel different than Wednesdays. And it's been really fun to see the growth over just the 3 years that I've been there.
Wow.
And again, you're right. Smart growth and steady growth is absolutely the way to go. Okay.
Hey, we got you for a few more minutes. I'm going to put the banner here. It's called orderparrilla.com.
Yep.
And if you're looking to order for some holiday parties, or you want to get in front of the line, you can order online. But what is new? You've got the downtown location. And I guess a better question is, any events coming up that we should know about that you wanted to share while I still have you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, Christmas parties definitely are a lot of fun. And to be quite honest, we cater outside Christmas parties a lot more than we do internal Christmas parties. But if you have an office of about 20, 30, 40 people, it's a great spot for it. It really is. It's tight. It's sort of closed off. We can sort of request half the restaurant for you, and it really tightens up. Either location's pretty great, but Gibson really lends itself to help for that. We're doing vandal watch parties. Yeah, we have football on Sundays and Saturdays. And, we've been involved with the BSU coaches this year and doing coaches meetings, catering those kinds of things. And so I would just say, if there's ever anything that you think might be on our radar, come in, stop in, email us, get on the website, order some food, come in and say hi, and just grab me and pull me aside. And 95% of the time, we're going to be a great fit for you. And the other 5%, we're going to be honest with you, right? If we're not a good fit for your event, we're going to let you know. We want you to be happy. So we're just excited about the holidays coming up. Obviously, this is my time of year, and so, I've got a little side gig coming up. I can't talk much about. But I'm super ready for the holidays, and it's been great so far. So yeah, it's been good.
Justin, we love you, man. Thanks for everything you're doing over there at Parrilla. Tell the team, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. You guys are the staple, and keep making the good stuff, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. Always good to see you.
Right back at you, Justin. Hey, tell the team hi from us. Thanks for everything you do. Have a great weekend, and Merry Christmas and New Year's.
You too, buddy. Talk to you soon.